biological engineering. And my plan is to do research in photonics. And I also wish to join some space agency in future. So there my doubt lies that I'm interested in photonics, not in core astrophysics as such. But I have this dream of working in a space agency in future. And I'm currently doing summer internship at CSIR NIST Trivandrum.
Okay.
And the topic is on colloidal photonic crystals.
Mhm. Okay. So what I understood is you want to understand how to you want to move your or work on a for a space enterprise, I guess, and that's what your question lies is how to from your point
Yes.
how to prepare for that and so forth, right? Let me ask you this question. Do you want to work in India or you want to work? What is your?
I want
I have
to
to.
work.
eh, Go
I
ahead.
want to work abroad, like
No, no. So if I have to
US.
ask you, yeah, yeah. So if I have to ask you, Adrija, what would be your dream job in next 5 years or 10 years? Where do you want to see yourself? What would be your answer?
Like my plan is to first complete my PhD,
Mhm.
and then after that I want to. I don't want to go into academia as such. So
Mhm.
I want to join some like space agency as a scientist.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So I can tell you my example. Probably that would be the best one to answer that question, since you are there where I was there 20 years back almost. So I can tell you what my journey has been. Probably you can take some bits and pieces from there. So as I said to you, so first thing first, you have to. So if you want to work for a space company in US, you have to come to US, right? So that's the right way to do it. Get a PhD, right? I will definitely tell you, go to the schools who are doing really good job in the space research. So one of the very good school that I will recommend is Colorado School of Mines. They have a very good metallurgy program, but at the same time, they are doing a lot of good research, in particular in space. Um, and Lockheed headquarter, the space headquarter actually is in Denver. So we do work with Colorado School of Mines quite a lot. We fund a lot of projects and so forth. And also one thing first, space is a very big field, right? So you can work in the area of materials, you can work whatever you want. So if you know as of now what topic interests you, what area that interests you, try to figure it out at this point of time, especially the universities and the professors and so forth. Figure those things out as much as possible.
So I am actually interested in photonics. So what are the like scope? What is the scope of photonics in space research?
I mean, photonics is a very big field. I mean, you can't say this and that, but what I will tell you, for example, plasma research is one of the very important research in space, especially plasma related to electric propulsion, because the future of space travel is electric propulsion. So there is a lot of work is being done on this particular topic. If you want to Google it, actually, I was last week. Actually, I was at MIT for a electric propulsion conference. You can Google that. It's called IEPC. I don't know whether you can see it or not, but sorry. Yeah. Uh, yeah. It's called anyway. It's called IEPC. Uh, IEPC 2022. If you Google it, it was at MIT about 2 weeks back. That's a good conference. And as I said, the reason I'm telling you about this particular conference is you will see a lot of work done in this particular topics you're talking about, related to plasma research, what is being done. So this could be one of the topics, right? That you could look into it. There are, since your background is metallurgy, also one thing you have to understand, because your background it's metallurgy, if you come to US, it won't restrict you to do things which are has nothing to do with metallurgy. You can explore all those things. I have done that quite a lot. My background, actually, my undergrad was in mining engineering from BHE, and I moved around quite a lot. My PhD was in mechanical, and then materials I started working on. So you can do a lot of things here. So just don't, if you, as I said, if you like a particular area, that's good. But if you see yourself doing something else, explore more. I would say undergrad is the time where you would like to explore more, because there are many things that, as I said, you can and you would be interested into. Um, there's one thing I will tell you for sure is space companies in general in US. This is very important. Our IT are restricted. So being a Indian national, you won't be able to get a job there. It's not possible. You have to be a US citizen. So keep that in mind when you look for, because a lot of times students do ask me this particular question. And I will give you, as you said, I can give you my example. I came here as a student, but it took me almost 10 years because, after PhD, I was still a student. And for me, it was difficult to find a job. You have to visa problem and all that. And every student go through that. I'm not scaring you, but this is the process. So if you see, there will be a smooth transition from you to get into um, a space company, that would not be possible. Like for me as a student, getting a job at Lockheed after my PhD was not possible, not at all. They don't hire foreign nationals, they hire US citizens. So it took me 10 years to beat that point, and fortunately that happened. So just keep that in mind. Even for example, NASA, if you want to be employed by NASA, right, you have to be a US citizen. It's a federal job. It's like DRDO will not hire a foreign national. You have to be an Indian citizen, something like that. It's a these are federal jobs. So just keep that in mind when you go through that. But as I tell everyone, I did it, and you will be doing. You can do it, and so it just uh, it, uh, the process that you have to go through that. So keep that in mind when you make that sort of a decision. Uh, Another thing I will tell you, there are many other ways of maneuvering around that. So, for example, you will find a lot of foreign nationals working for Jet Propulsion Lab in California. You will see that. That only happens because Jet Propulsion Lab has a contract with Caltech. So they work at JPL, but actually they are an employee of Caltech. You understand? So there is a way to do it. So you will see sometimes, oh, this guy who did his PhD was a foreign student and went to work at JPL. Because they work at JPL doesn't mean they are an employee of NASA. They are actually employee of Caltech, because Caltech has agreement. So that's how they have figured it that thing out. But then at the same time, I will also tell you, being as a foreign national, they're probably not allowed to go to any labs if they are ITR restricted. They have to work on certain places, certain labs. They can't move around everywhere. So these things happens. So as I said, this is a very general example that uh, any student has to face. I have faced it, and figured it out. And as I said, a lot of students do figure it out. So just keep it. I'm trying to give this as you as an information when you make your decision, because that's important. Many people think, especially I get a lot of emails asking people, can I get a job at Lockheed? Very simple. And my answer is like, you have to be a US citizen. You can't, because they think I come from India. Maybe they feel like we can do it. I mean, I'm not denying it. People are extremely intelligent. You can do it, and I'm not denying your intelligence at all. It's just this stupid process that one has to go through.
So, sir, how difficult is it to get a green card after PhD?
Um, I won't say it's difficult. I would say if you are doing the right thing. So let me tell you, as an Indian national, you have you must go through a PhD stream to because that makes your things easier to get a green card. Just as a master's is difficult, as a PhD it's easy. So that's one thing that you are doing right. Second thing, you want to make sure that you have a good publications. You want to make sure that you have good citations. You want to make sure you are doing all the right things that is possible, because that what your makes your case easier for for a category which allows you to get a green card in 1 year rather than 10 years. You can't wait for 10, 20 years. You want it to get it as soon as possible. And as I said, that's the way to do it, like getting into a PhD program and doing the right thing. And I have I have friends from BHU who went to, like, I have a junior from actually metallurgy. We both were actually at Oak Ridge National Lab, and he has a very good publication citation, and he got his green card, and he's a professor actually at Oklahoma State. So, as I said, you will find that is how people get it, doing the right thing. So you getting a PhD, you doing publications, you winning awards, you were making your CV much stronger, so that the USGIS, which gives all this shit, which will tell you that you are one of the most important person, that we should keep it. That's how the whole system works. But let's say if you are a PhD has no citation, no publication, I would definitely suggest that will put you in a bad position.
So
So
is it
it's
like
easy.
preferred?
So what I'm saying, it's easy if you have all the right publications and things. It's easy. But if it's you don't have, yes, it's difficult. That's what I meant.
So is it very difficult to like uh, I think like I'm very confused about the cost of PhD program, because I've heard that the stipend is not enough for like
I mean, PhDs.
affording the cost of living.
Uh, I don't know who told you that, but PhDs. First of all, PhDs in US, I would say 99% are funded. PhDs comes with funding. Okay. Again, I'm talking about just US. I'm not talking about Europe and other places, because that's not the case for other places. In US, PhD, if you get admission into a PhD program, mm, as I said, 99% most likely you will have a funding letter. The funding letter might say, oh, you have a first year of a TA. After that, you have to figure it out, your RA. That's fine. That's how everybody gets it. That's how the letter is being given to everyone. That's fine. So first year you get a TA, and then you figure out your advisor, and then the advisor pays it. And then the stipend is in my opinion is good enough for a student to have a car. I had a car, a second hand, a broken one, but I had a car. So what I'm saying is, you don't have to worry about your healthcare. You don't have to worry about your tuition. You don't have to pay anything. And on the tap, you're getting decent amount that pays for your food and your rent and your recreation. You can have all the fun you want as a student. You're not you're definitely in the poorest stream, but doesn't mean that you don't get money that you have to pay from your pocket. Or many people actually save money and they send back to their parents too. So that's not the case. I don't think you have that information is correct.
So like according to you, it's very difficult to get into NASA or something like space agency, considering I'm a foreign national.
I can give you one example. Adrija, uh, 3 weeks back, I got an offer letter from NASA. So what I'm trying to tell you, if I can do it, you can do it. There is no too difficult thing here. Although I'm not going to join NASA because I got promoted here at Lockheed. But my point here is, and I have a background in mining, and I'm working for a space company. So, I don't know what, and I was not a good student too. Don't get me wrong. I was never a very like DR1 or whatever they call it. But my point here is, if you're doing all the right things, and if you have interest, if you have patience, follow your dreams, follow your passion, you will have. If you ask me, Amit, did you ever thought of you're gonna be doing PhD and working for a space company? No, it doesn't. Life never works like that. Everybody has his own journey. But what I'm saying is, you will figure it out. Maybe you will not work for NASA. Maybe you will work for somebody else. But what I'm saying is, I mean, there are examples, right? There are, and also, one of the things that is happening in space industry in particular right now is there are so many startups. To be honest with you, their space right now is just like in 90s. There is an internet boom. Space is booming. Every day there are new companies. I can tell you almost 200 companies, startup companies that are working in different aspect of space, like various aspects, right? Yeah, I mean, one has always fascination that you want to work at NASA or whatever, Lockheed or Raytheon or whatever. But my point here is, there are many companies that are being starting right now, and you will, and I think that this is the right time to work for a company, for a technology which is working towards space, because that's where the challenges are. Otherwise, in daily life, you won't find any challenging problem. Space is challenge you with technical, law, whatever it is, business perspective, whatever. So I don't think you saying it's difficult, because I said I'm a living example with you, coming from exactly from the same place, right? I graduated next door from mining engineering, which is considered not computer science. So I definitely would say that at all, to be honest. I would say that if I mean, as you said, you can't find a closest example than that to me, at least for your case, right? So, and I am not discouraging you. I'm telling you what exactly I did. I'm telling you exactly the recipe. Maybe your chicken butter masala won't taste like what I did, but it would be a chicken butter masala. My point is, you will get close to where you can, but do all these right things.
So I had one more doubt, that majority of my friends are going into non-code, or many have dream of joining industry. So here also in my internship, I've developed an app. So I have some knowledge about coding. So should I keep my app development as backup plan, or should I focus only on research line?
One thing I will tell you, Adrija, this is a very common question that I get all the time. My point is, why do you do PhD? A PhD doesn't guarantee you a job. PhD doesn't guarantee you a good salary. You don't do PhD for all any reasons. You do only PhD because you are passionate about something. That is the only reason you should do it. Because trust me, I have friends who graduated with me undergrad. Some of them probably are making much more money. Some of them probably achieve something else. Some are the owner of companies. Some are actually, there's a girl actually from ceramic who's a VP, who's actually CEO of Manyat.
Mintra, I guess.
What? Which company?
Mintra.
No, yeah, Mantra. That she was my batchmate, Nandita. My point here is, you can do, people have achieved several things. I mean, so keep that in mind. What do you want to do? Yeah, and then definitely, if you know this is where your heart is, there is a saying in Spider-Man, where they say more power gives you more responsibility, something like that. The more you take ownership of challenges, the more careful you have to be. I have to be careful all the time, because if somebody can say, "Oh, you have wasted 10 years just on education," yeah, I have to be more careful on every time of what I do, right? But definitely there is a sense of accomplishment in that, just like in any other job you will have. So it's very relative, to be honest with you. I had a senior in mining engineering, my senior, one of my senior. He went to MIT, and then he's a professor at Cambridge now at astrophysics. Completely different. And I've never seen a guy like him. To be honest with you, one of the brilliant guy I have seen in my entire career ever. It, I mean, so my point here is you need to see those people who have who have chased their dreams. And if you follow, you have that much perseverance and passion, then you will follow that dream, and then only you can make some difference. Otherwise, you will doing the same thing as probably 1,000 people are doing every year. Just give an example. BHU graduates, I don't know, 1,000. Out of those 1,000, I think then you will find only maybe 0.01% of people who are making really a difference doing something, right? So you have to, as I said, you have to decide what you want to do, what your career is going to shape. And as I said, I'm not putting that as a right or wrong, but it all counts on what you're interested. I remember when we were undergrad, I think second year we went to IC Bangalore for our internship. And I think that would change my mind completely, because what I felt there, what I saw there, those 1.5 months, I just loved it, and I knew I have to go for a PhD. There was no time then. There was no if and but at all. So that's a decision that you need to take for yourself, what you would like to do. And as I said, and by the way, just on the other hand, I will definitely tell you one thing: any skills that you're developing, whether it's app developing, coding, those are fantastic. Don't get me wrong; those are fantastic. I wish I knew all those things, because then you will realize that whatever work or whatever passion you're following, you can apply all those interests somewhere. There are I work on digital transformation, so the whole thing that I do is I try to figure it out, how can I minimize human interaction and put and use more either robotics or computers to do the job. As I said, this is what the world is going to be. So your skills can be used anywhere. So it's something like cooking, right? If you somebody has a cooking skill, you can make pizza, you can make burger, you can make Indian, Chinese, continental, right? So doesn't mean if you know how to develop an app, you have to go to work for Infosys. That's what I meant. World is very broad now. So
Even I feel that, like, after coming here for internship, even I felt that in academia there is more need of people who know coding.
yeah. I mean, there is one thing I will tell you. You have to. I have a different version of it, but these days, for example, data analytics and machine learning is very popular. I knew my BTech thesis was on neural network. This was when nobody knew about neural network as such. This was just growing. But I will tell you one thing. That has also put students in a very negative way, because they then don't learn the physics and mechanics of what the core is. You have to do that. You can't say, oh, I developed this black box and this is spitting out garbage. That's what it is. So you have to be very careful. You should know as a core, if you are interested in it, you should know. So as a materials, I should know how the material is feeling. I should feel it. I should become like that. I should, after that I can do whatever I want, but I should know the physics, chemistry, and math behind that, whatever research I'm doing. And then you can use tools and all that in much more aggressive, much more fantastic way. But just to jumping on those tools and not doing the right things, that may not be useful. Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
So, no, sir.
Okay.
Like, I only had this doubt that of the cost. So,
No, I
and
don't think that's.
also about space agencies.
Yeah, but I don't think cost should be a problem. You should be fine. Okay. And keep in touch, Aditya. Good luck for your internship, and hope to. If you decide to come to US, whenever you come, just give me a call. Okay.
So, and what, like, if we plan to do internship abroad, then what should be our, like,
You can just email professors and all that. I'm not sure how that works out, to be honest with you. But there are people who do it. There's, I mean, your friends might have applied through some internship or something. But as you said, right now, if as you said, if you want to do your PhD, I would really focus on you to make sure you are doing a very good job in your GRE and TOEFL. Don't screw it up. Internship won't matter that much. Getting a PhD. Make sure your GRE and TOEFL is on the top. Make sure you are going to Stanford. Make sure you are going to some other good universities. That should be a priority. Though internships and this and that is not going to matter too much. If you screw up your GRE TOEFL, you're done. And your GPA, that's important too.
So I have heard from seniors that during this COVID season, some universities have like decreased the priority of GRE.
Yeah, they did, but you have to check the university. Like, for example, you will have a list of 10 universities, right? And you will say, okay, out of these 10 universities, which of them I'm going to apply, and look at their criteria. But you are right. Some of them had done it. I think some department has done it. I think it's very, and then maybe some are coming back now saying that we will accept it now because COVID is gone. So I don't know too much about that, but you're right.
Okay, so thanks a lot for your time.
Yeah, no problem, Aditya. Good talking to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, sir.